What is going on, everyone? This is Courtney from the Aqua team back here for our weekly sales training. We're going live today, so we're on Instagram and Facebook. We're on Instagram at my government name, Courtney M. Rollins. You also can see us on Instagram at Aqua team _ Aqua underscore team properties. I can't talk today. Then of course on Facebook at Aqua Team Properties. We wholesale real estate properties. That's what we primarily focus on, which means that's the art of finding discounted properties. What you do after that is really up to you. And it all really depends on, or is contingent on, a conversation, quality conversations with some type of a distressed seller. And this is not my words. This is stuff heard over and over from thousands of folks before us or doing it currently. We all know that at the end of the day, you have to be able to talk to the seller. You have to be able to negotiate a price or a term that's going to work for you, for your investors, for the seller, and everyone. And so there's some people who naturally have that gift of gab, but the skill of negotiating, the skill of talking to people is something that can be acquired, something that can be worked on. It has to be worked on. And so that's what we do. That's why we're out here. All right. So we also open it up to everyone. We don't claim to be gurus or anything like that, but this is our opportunity to give and to share and to receive feedback from folks. So this is live. If you have a question or a comment or anything like that, throw it in the chat and we will hopefully get to it. All right, and I have a couple of my team members on board here today. Rachel, the lead manager, and Greg, one of our acquisitions managers, is on. So they may be chiming in throughout. So if you have questions or thoughts or comments for them, definitely share it as well. So as I share my screen today, I'm excited about the topic because it's all that stuff. Oh, that's me trying to get on Facebook. I think I did it right.
I think you shared the wrong thing, Courtney.
How you figure?
No, you just showed your mug. That's all.
Oh, hey, give the people what they want. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, I guess I had to set up. So I put all my slides. You can get access to this. DM me if you want them, because I collect all the slides in one place. But as I was saying, I'm excited about today because I'm reading this book, Atomic Habits. I've been staring at it for like maybe 6 to 7 months, and so many people have been telling me about this book, like people that I really respect. And I listened to them on the podcast, and I was like, okay, I got to go grab that book, open it up. One of my DP just mentioned it last week. What up, Miguel? And one of our good friends, you all, if you followed us, you may have seen him on here before, Jason Butcher, who's out here as a realtor out in the Maryland area, amazing guy, shared that he really appreciated and got a lot out of this. But this is talking about how you actually how habits can create and make so much significant, crazy change. We're talking about small habits, atomic level habits. And so there's a famous quote that he has here: "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." And so I wholeheartedly believe in setting goals and having goals out there. And I do recognize that, so let's say last year, we picked up some speed, we had momentum with the Aqua team, and then we were able to bring in great folks, we were able to create systems, but I still feel like I kind of let my foot off the gas as far as going acquisition, acquiring new leads. This just was, my systems get tested, and we recognize that there are places that we can tighten up and get better at. So I'm so glad that we have these tools to help us do that. So if we're talking about level up to your systems, what are the habits of success for real estate and wholesalers? We're just going to focus on one particular habit that a wholesaler does. But let's take a moment to pause and pull out a cool point that I felt like I pulled from reading Atomic Habits. Is that quite often when we talk about goals, and we were talking about this earlier, I was talking about with Greg today. Quite often we focus on the outcome. I want to lose weight. I want to have a healthy relationship with my partner. I want to have this money. But what we don't necessarily recognize is that the person or the identity or who you need to become to reach their goals is actually the more important piece to reflect on. That's one of the most exciting things about this entrepreneurial journey. Like, I want a lot of money. I know I have a lot of money right now in my heart, in my future, in my mind, all this stuff, abundance. But it's not really the abundance of money that's material wealth that excites me. It's the fulfillment, the actual things that I need to do, the person that I need to become, the person I need to show up as consistently, that it's so exciting, It's just It's really cool. I really like that. So when we think about our goals, let's think about those identities that you want to be. If I want to be in a loving relationship, well, I am a person who's in a loving. I'm in a loving relationship. I'm a loving partner. What does a loving partner do? You know, what are the processes, and then you'll get the outcomes that you're looking for. That has been very, very helpful to me. For instance, some people may struggle with smoking sometimes, you know, and sometimes like I've seen people like or say, hey, here's a cigarette, and something like, nah, you know, I haven't smoked in a month, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm trying to quit smoking, I haven't smoked in a month. It's like, well, why are you counting? If your identity is you're not a smoker, then that's just what you are. You know, you walk into that step. I'm not saying it's easy, because trust me, I recognize how challenging it is to stop, you know, something like smoking and stuff like that. So I'm not minimizing the challenge or the struggle, but I think if we focus on or start focusing on the identity, the person we need to be, then the processes will be in place and the outcome will be there. So one thing that I know that a habit of successful professional home buyer has is that they actually track their goals and they're able to have focus. I'm a successful professional home buyer, period. You know, so when I'm working on my sales and negotiating skills, when I'm talking to my sellers, talking to my leads, talking to my buyers, I can walk in with a bit of confidence because I know I'm doing those small things that professional, successful home buyers do. Why? Because I'm finding the successful professional home buyers and I'm surrounding myself with them and I'm learning from them, because success leaves clues. And so if I think about, as opposed to focusing on, oh, I need 5 deals or I need this or that, no, I am a successful professional home buyer and I become that. One of the things that we do, or that I've noticed that professional home buyers or strong entrepreneurs, business owners do, is again, they are able to focus. And so people on my team have received something called an intentions journal. I think it's intention. The intention journal. Shout out to Bigger Pockets, Brandon Turner. Great resource for folks who are want to learn really anything about real estate. Bigger Pockets is awesome. But Brandon Turner is not the one who coined the technique that's in here. This is a lot of the work and research is based on social science and research on how people have been able to be effective at reaching their goals. And so one thing that I want folks to do, or that I'm asking my team to do, that we're going to be working on, is using this intention journal, not necessarily just for Aqua Team, but just for your life. Because if I have healthy people on my team, that I know we're going to have a healthy system, and that's all going to help us add value, and it's going to help us reach our goals. It's awesome. And so what I generally do is ask folks to, or what we're asking folks is think about the end in mind. What is your end goal? What is your why? What is your, however you describe it, your life purpose? You know, and you can do that activity. I think we've done it on here before with folks. People who come into my, come onto the team are asked to think about that as well. And as you think about that, then you need to ask yourself, you know, okay, all right, ask and write down, what are the things I need to do 10 years from now to be on the path to reach that end in mind? 5 years from now, 1 year from now, and it really gets important to be, it's important to be as specific as possible and to add the emotionality and the feelings that you have around there, because the subconscious doesn't necessarily know the difference. So the more we can really carve out the emotion and feeling that we have and feeling and seeing ourselves there and be as specific as possible, the more opportunity we have to forge a path towards that. Yeah, and so when you get to that 1 year path, that is very important, because then you can boil down to 90 days. And there's something powerful about focus in 90 days. A year from now is almost like, you can push it off. 90 days seems a little more urgent enough to give you urgency, you know, but it's also not so right in your face where you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this today, you know? So when you take that 90-day goal, and what we're asking you to do is to pick just three 90-day goals, so that, like, there seems to be power in 3. Then people can, like, you know, focus on 2 to 5 things. Really can only focus on one conscious thing at a time. That whole multitasking thing, there's a lot of science that says it's not necessarily really effective or really true. Our brain can focus on one thing. That's why it's so important to establish habits, because it shifts over to the whatever we can offload to our unconscious. Awesome. But anyways, so you pick 3 things, 3 goals that are connected to your whys. And then you think about, okay, what do I need to do this week to be on pace to reach that goal in 90 days. And then what I really like is the MIN, the most important next step. What do I need to do? The most important next step, which is probably today, is usually time sensitive, but today, to reach that outcome for the week, which is going to reach my 90-day goals. Now, the important thing about this is to write this down every day and revisit it every day, so you're writing the same goals down every day. Yes, of course, they cycle out as time goes on, as you're achieving them and reaching them, but you are focused on it, reaching and looking at it every day. And that is so important because what we measure, what we put our attention towards, that is what grows. That is where, that's where energy flows. And so this has been so helpful for me. This is like probably my 12th journal, intention journal here that we have. I like it too because it has a place to put like what you're grateful for the day, some other those habits that you want to establish. You can track those again so that you can have, you can see that progress and stuff like that. And it gives you opportunity to review at night. And it's really, really, really awesome way of tracking and of moving forward. And if you're a professional home buyer, period, that's something that I really encourage you to do. Not because it was definitely working for me, but the folks out there who I'm sure that we're all aspiring to model are doing it as well. So that's the sales training for today, folks.
Courtney.
Yeah, I'll open it up. Yeah.
Can you make those these slides available? These are very, very encouraging. We talk every day. We talk every day about our journeys, and I kind of want to have that as something in my pocket, just to have as a reference.
Absolutely, yeah. Just like everyone, if you all click, actually, I guess there should be a button that's going across here right now. If the editing is proper, click that button and it'll send you the link to the slides. If you want access to contracts, we're not attorneys or anything like that, but scripts, everything that we're using, you can definitely share. And usually our sales training is a little bit more interactive. I have the blast and gift of glad, but sometimes we're role playing and everything. So let me hush my mouth though, and ask you guys. We already heard Greg's thoughts. What are your thoughts? If you have more to share too, that'd be great. Any thoughts or questions about what we're talking about today?
I guess I have a more philosophical question.
Mm-hmm.
What about those, especially myself, that are struggling just to make the first step?
The first step.
Of just setting an alarm or something to make sure that I'm putting all those things first. Any kind of insights that you might have, or either of you have anything that's like really worked for you?
Right, when you're trying to carve out the time to actually have the time to reflect, like that famous saying, if you're busy and somebody's like, I'm busy in my life, and the guy was like, well, you need to meditate for 20 minutes. He said, I don't have 20 minutes to meditate. He said, well, shit, you need to meditate for 40 minutes a day. If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've heard that before, definitely.
Yeah, but as far as like time blocking, I guess looking at one thing that would help me is like really looking at the autonomy of my week and seeing where and how those spaces and times can be that I can have the time to look at this, and carving it out, putting it out there, and trying to make it as automatic as possible. But yeah, what do you think, G? I mean,
Yeah, I agree. So one thing that has been very beneficial is savers. I mean, we talk about savers all the time. If you've never heard about savers, Rachel's question was, how do you, for those who need to start, they need a jump start. I would recommend savers. Savers saves your life, man. I promise you, because you have a structure or you have a routine every morning. You wake up, you take out a few minutes to your time. That's the silence. That's the S. You then go for affirmation, what are you thankful for? Then you go for you write down what you need to do for the day. That's you visualize your day. I do it every single day. The number one thing I do is work out. I mean, for a lot of us, we had a New Year's resolution, but in order for us to achieve these resolutions, we need to write these things down. On one of the podcasts, who was I listening to? It's on Driving for Dollars. Zach Booth, one of his podcasts.
Awesome. Yeah.
One of his podcasts, one of the guests said he wrote a $20,000 check. He had it on his wall And that was what he was striving to go get. So you got to see it. You got to visualize it. The first thing in order to achieve anything, you got to visualize it. No, you have to believe. Belief. You got to believe that you can achieve. And if you believe you can achieve, write these things down and see it, visualize these things.
Another thing I would also, oh, my bad.
Go ahead, and then I'll finish.
No, I was about to say another practical is like, because I think for me, I feel like what I'm hearing Rachel is asking for like that practical, like that practical, like next step. And I think one thing that I'm hearing from like social scientists is that behavior can lead to habit change. So making that small task for your stuff and completing that, you start becoming that. So for instance, there were people, they were showing that like if you need to like lose a lot of weight and you want to work out, just getting up, going to the gym. There was people went to the gym, went in there, turned around, walked back out for about 2 weeks, I believe. And I'm probably tearing up the story, but eventually went in there, 5 minutes, started working out. Eventually just establishing the cue, the habit, the cue of getting up and actually going in there into those spaces. You start becoming, that becomes a part of your identity. So like I would start off really, really small, and I would stay small too, making small promises to yourself, success, breed success, and your mind starts trying to be congruent with what your behavior is. It's very hard for us to be incongruent and inconsistent with what we are. So if you're actually acting and going into that, then you start, it's almost like a fake it till you make it on small steps. Literally, it's proven path.
Right, I agree with you. That's why I was giving you the routine for savers. But I mean, that's how I started. I mean, it was hard for me to stop a few habits. It was hard for me to start a few habits. It was difficult. So for me, that's what I started. I started savers. I took one day at a time. I didn't even do everything at one setting. I mean, I had to build it, take one day at a time and start growing. So
and give them the acronym for savers out there. We love that. Hal Herward is the gentleman who wrote the book Miracle Morning and coined the phrase savers. Can you let them know what the saver stands for?
Yeah, but that's what I was just doing. So the S, you take silence for yourself, spirituality, you pray, meditate, do what you have to do. The A, affirmations, what are you grateful for? The V, you visualize your day, write down your goals, what are you planning to do? Again, I was saying that my first thing is work out. So I write in my to-do list, work out, just take it 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Now I can work 35, 40 minutes, an hour now. And I only started 5 minutes. What am I on? VE, exercise, of course, number one thing. R, you read podcasts, read books, listen to podcasts, all about reading, or all about the R. And S, you write it down, write a journal. If you can do something every day, don't feel bad because you don't do every single thing of savers. It's a journey, man. It's a growth thing. I think that a lot of us, we stop doing things because we feel that we haven't been successful because we stopped doing it. I mean, don't stop, just keep doing it. Take one day at a time and just keep, it's consistency.
What I like about what you said is that like, you start the day like that, you already got a couple of wins on your belt. So you're already feeling good and growing and going, like you already have wins. You already made promises to yourself that you're keeping, and that energy goes throughout the day to everything else that you're trying to do.
Right. And the interesting thing, I'm not saying everybody has to do this. I'm an early bird. No matter if I go to bed at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I'm going to wake up about 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning. So when I start off my day positive and get the things I need to get done, the rest of my day tends to be positive, and I can get the stuff I need to get done. A lot of times by mid-afternoon, I'm like, dude, what in the world I have to do? I done did everything in the morning while everybody is asleep. So, it benefits me now that I have a routine, I have a plan, and I'm sticking to it and just taking one day at a time.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah. And
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Did you hear? I'm sorry. I said thank you. I was saying thank you for sharing that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Both of you.
Yeah, I was just there. My mind went to a couple of different places from what G was saying about the just starting off in the morning and making promises to yourself and the path that it sets you on. I can't remember what the bow was, but like I know that today's sales training wasn't like us talking about how to overcome obstacles and everything, but this is like the foundation, really, your mindset and getting it right. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The next thing I'm really excited about learning more about is the power of sleep and rest too, that comes into play with us being able to set our goals and to assume certain identities. Like we are not logical beings, we are biological, all these swimming chemicals and things of that nature. So the things that happen to us at night that allows us to flesh out some of the psychological, physiological things, process certain things that allow us to synthesize all the stuff we're trying to grow and to learn is very important. That happens quite often when we're asleep. So they say your good night's sleep starts in the morning, and a great morning starts with a good night's sleep. So, you know, it's cyclical. So it's dope that we're doing this. Let's be intentional about where we put our energy, where we put our attention towards grows, and where energy goes flows, folks. And we just lost Rachel. But I'm about to sign off on live on Instagram and sign off live on Facebook. And but I will be back on here in a few moments. We'll go run, grab some food, and then jump back on for our cold calls. So not cold calls, but for our I do live calls in the evenings. So you all jump back on if you want to see what that looks like. And if you're looking at this on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that good stuff has helped us get out to many people, helps us help many folks. And yeah, we really appreciate it. Rising Tides over here. And let's see, did I do it right over here? Let's see that.
Rising Tides.
No, yeah, Rising Tides over. Did I do it right? Stop Rising Tides. No, let's stop recording. I want to stop the live. Stop the live stream. Rising Tides over there.